California, the Golden State. But have you ever wondered why it's called that? In the late 1840s, a discovery buried beneath its rivers and hills set the world ablaze. Gold. The mere mention of it sparked dreams of fortune and opportunity, transforming a quiet frontier into the epicenter of one of the largest migrations in American history. But the gold rush wasn't just about striking it rich. It reshaped landscapes, built cities, and forever changed the course of California's history. Join us as we journey back to the days of pickaxes and pioneers, unraveling the tale of how the rush for gold made California what it is today. This is Forgotten Frontiers. How the gold rush changed California. In the late 1840s, the world seemed to erupt with the news of gold being discovered in California. The dream of a new life drove a massive wave of migration to this promising land. The California gold rush transformed the Wild West into a destination for wealth seekers and spurred the rapid development of major cities in the area. Before the gold rush erupted, California underwent a tumultuous transition. Initially, this land was under Spanish control. However, in the early 19th century, taking advantage of Spain's weakening political stability, Mexican citizens rose up for independence. Despite numerous challenges and years of struggle, Mexico officially gained independence from Spain in 1821. After independence, wealthy Mexican families, known as Californios, acquired land in California and developed agricultural practices. Many trading ports emerged, facilitating commerce with eastern U.S. states and South America, primarily in livestock hides, tallow, and candles. However, Mexico's independence joy was short-lived as it faced a new threat: an influx of American settlers. Americans settling in Texas during the 1820s demanded autonomy, resulting in the Republic of Texas establishment in March 1836. Subsequent movements to annex Texas into the U.S. gained momentum, with President James K. Polk strongly advocating for westward expansion. In 1846, he sought congressional approval to declare war on Mexico. After 2 years of conflict, the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo was signed in February 1848, officially ending the Mexican-American War. As a result, Mexico ceded a vast territory, including California, to the United States. 1 month before the war ended, gold was discovered in California, marking the beginning of a tumultuous but promising new chapter for the region. Johann August Sutter, a German immigrant better known as John Sutter, inadvertently sparked the California gold rush. In 1839, Sutter arrived in this promising land, aspiring to establish a prosperous agricultural settlement, later known as Sutter's Fort. Located strategically, Sutter's Fort quickly became a bustling commercial center, attracting merchants and visitors. In early 1848, Sutter assigned James Marshall, one of his workers, the task of sourcing lumber for construction. Marshall chose Coloma, an area along the American River, to build a sawmill. To enhance the sawmill's efficiency, Marshall dug a deeper water channel. On January 24, 1848, during an inspection, Marshall noticed something shiny in the channel. "My heart nearly jumped out of my chest," Marshall recounted. "I was certain it was gold, and soon I found more pieces." Despite their efforts to keep the discovery secret, news of the gold spread rapidly, and the California gold rush officially began. Coloma and nearby areas along the American River became magnets for thousands seeking fortune. Gold mining quickly expanded to rivers like Sacramento, San Joaquin, and Mokelumne. During the gold rush's peak from 1848 to 1855, approximately 750,000 pounds, 340,000 kilograms of gold were extracted. News of the gold discovery spread unevenly. Those already moving westward toward California and surrounding territories were the first to hear of the promising gold mines. Meanwhile, residents in the Midwest and eastern U.S. remained unaware of this seismic event. Upon hearing the news, workers at Sutter's Fort and travelers nearby abandoned their jobs to pursue their dreams of gold. At the time, road networks were underdeveloped, so news traveled most effectively by sea. Consequently, it took 6 months for East Coast residents to learn about the gold rush. By the summer of 1848, a young military officer named William T. Sherman urged Governor Richard B. Mason to verify the rumors of vast treasures being excavated in California. After witnessing the gold firsthand, Mason promptly reported to President Polk. On December 5, 1848, President Polk officially announced the discovery of gold in California during a congressional address. This announcement triggered a massive migration to California. An estimated 100,000 people journeyed to the region in the first year, traveling by sea or crossing the Great Plains. Those arriving in 1849 with dreams of gold became known as 49ers. Before the gold rush, major California cities like San Francisco were small villages with only a few hundred residents. The gold rush transformed the area entirely. San Francisco's population skyrocketed from fewer than 400 in 1845 to approximately 56,000 by 1860. Thousands arrived by sea, turning San Francisco into a bustling port filled with hotels and saloons. Along the rivers, miners built makeshift shelters to live in while searching for gold. According to the 1850 census, the most common occupation in California was mining, with 57,789 miners. Other professions, such as merchants and entrepreneurs, accounted for only a fraction of the workforce. From 1850 to 1860, California's population surged from 92,597 to 379,994. Cities like Los Angeles, Sacramento, and San Francisco more than doubled in size. This population boom prompted the U.S. government to recognize California as the 31st state on September 9, 1850, under the Compromise of 1850. California entered the Union as a free state. Although gold mining was the main draw, many others saw opportunities in supplying resources and services to miners. Large-scale agriculture began to thrive in the 1860s alongside new businesses. However, gold became harder to find for late arrivals, and harsh working conditions discouraged many. Exposure to extreme weather increased the risk of illness, and some miners succumbed to malnutrition or exhaustion. Despite the challenges, the gold rush played a crucial role in transforming California into the prosperous state it is today. The influx of settlers laid the foundation for vibrant cities and a robust agricultural economy. The extension of railroads to the west further expanded opportunities, drawing even more settlers to this land of promise. Immigration policies and the Transcontinental Railroad. The construction of the Transcontinental Railroad, also known as the Pacific Railroad, began in January 1863 and was completed in 1869. This monumental project connected the Pacific Railroad with the Union Pacific Railroad at Promontory Summit, Utah. The railroad dramatically reduced travel time between the east and west coasts of the United States. The influx of immigrants to California provided a vital labor force for railroad companies, as these workers took on arduous tasks that local laborers were less inclined to perform. By the 1870s, a significant portion of Chinese immigrants in the United States resided in California, with an estimated 10,000 participating in railroad construction. While the U.S. prided itself as a land of freedom and opportunity, many immigrants faced harsh realities, including discrimination and exploitative wages. The preference for hiring Chinese immigrants at lower wages intensified tensions with American workers. Immigration policies became increasingly restrictive due to rising xenophobia. The foreign miners' license tax required foreign miners to pay monthly fees. In 1875, the Supreme Court ruled in the case of Chai Lung v. Freeman that the federal government had exclusive authority over immigration policy. This led to laws barring entry for certain groups while imposing taxes on others. The Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882 marked the first federal law to ban a specific ethnic group from immigrating to the U.S. for labor or settlement, except under special circumstances. It prohibited Chinese workers from entering the U.S. for 10 years and required eligible immigrants to present certifications. Subsequent immigration laws, such as the Foreign Act of 1885, further tightened restrictions. Although immigrants arrived on the East Coast as well, the Chinese Exclusion Act primarily targeted the influx of Chinese immigrants to the West during the 1850s. Environmental impact of the gold rush. The gold rush caused significant destruction to California's natural resources and fertile lands. Deforestation was rampant, as timber was used for mining operations, fuel, and construction to accommodate the growing migrant population. Before advanced mining techniques emerged, gold was extracted using rudimentary methods like panning and sluicing, which separated gold by weight. The advent of hydraulic mining, while more effective, required building dams to divert rivers. This devastated aquatic ecosystems, reduced biodiversity, and increased sediment in rivers, altering their flow and heightening the risk of flooding. Mercury, used in gold extraction, severely polluted water sources, poisoning both wildlife and humans. Recognizing these environmental consequences, Judge Lorenzo Sawyer of California issued a landmark injunction in 1884 banning hydraulic mining. This ruling is considered one of the earliest environmental protection measures in U.S. history. California's future and legacy of the gold rush. The explosive population growth from the gold rush created an urgent need for a civil government. California officially became the 31st state of the United States, addressing residents' aspirations for stability and development. The gold rush also fueled discussions about a transcontinental railroad, an idea conceived as early as the 1840s to connect the East and West. While the gold rush spurred prosperity, it also left environmental challenges. Recognizing these issues, efforts to conserve nature gained traction. President Abraham Lincoln signed the Yosemite Grant Act in 1864, establishing one of the nation's first national parks, Yosemite National Park. As gold resources dwindled by the 1880s, many miners transitioned to other industries for survival. Agriculture, particularly wheat farming and livestock raising, emerged as key economic sectors. This shift contributed to the growth of urban centers like Sacramento, San Francisco, and Los Angeles. The legacy of the gold rush persists in California's culture and identity. The state seal, adopted in 1849, features the Greek motto Eureka, meaning "I have found it," symbolizing the joy of discovering gold. The nickname, the Golden State, first appeared in Eliza Farnham's book in 1856 and was officially adopted in 1968. Both symbols underscore the gold rush's pivotal role in shaping California's development and prosperity. The California gold rush was more than a hunt for wealth. It was a catalyst for change. It brought people together, created cities, and laid the foundation for California's thriving economy. But it came at a cost: environmental destruction, cultural upheaval, and the exploitation of immigrant labor. Today, the echoes of those tumultuous years can still be felt, etched in the very identity of the Golden State. From Eureka on the state seal to its nickname, the Golden State, the legacy of the gold rush lives on. What stories will we unearth next on Forgotten Frontiers? Subscribe and join us on our quest to rediscover the hidden tales that shaped our world.